Is this the most racist report a Washington agency has ever delivered? Welcome to the Jason Rantz Show, presented by None Better Tax Resolution. The Washington State Department of Health released a report sharing what its left-wing community partners learned during the COVID pandemic. It is an aggressively unserious document that includes a virulently racist claim about the evils of white people. The report baselessly claims, quote, "Don't forget, sometimes white people disengaged on safety when they learned people of color needed help." Really? At least in the Seattle area, it seemed like almost all of the messaging about the pandemic was specific to so-called marginalized communities. Those messages were created by white progressives, folks who see themselves as literal white knights coming to the rescue of people who don't look like them. Also that they can post on social media about how they did heroic work for the BIPOC community. The demands in this report are laughable, almost like it's parody. It demands, for example, that the Department of Health, quote, use COVID as an opportunity to invest in youth of color and incarcerated youth by celebrating their gifts in ways that, quote, don't stigmatize or typify them when society fails them, whatever that means. It even asks that the agency, quote, get creative in promoting materials around health crises by using flash mobs or via BIPOC artists, trans/queer artists of color, they have to be of color, women of color of all gender expressions, define woman, incarcerated youth and adult artists. It explains that any Washington Department of Health produced guides include photos of people, quote, with dark to fair skin tones, all body types, ages, gender expressions, hair textures, facial features, and economic backgrounds. It's interesting how you can see someone's economic background via a photo. And if you don't, you're not inclusive enough. The report is drenched in far-left coded language that means absolutely nothing. For example, the demand to, quote, make human-centered frameworks that avoid pathologizing communities that experience disparities due to social exclusion and oppression and ask for better civic and community investment. Now, that's just a jumble of meaningless jargon that does nothing but earn progressive street cred amongst academic white liberals. The Washington Department of Health report is remarkably unserious. This is an exercise in fluffery and pandering, the physical embodiment of a virtue signal, presenting the groups responsible for the report as noble frontlighters fighting against imaginary systemic injustices. Now, if this were merely a way to engage community organizations so they don't protest you in the future, that would be one thing. But Washingtonians should worry that this agency might actually follow through with the laundry list of woke demands. Based on some of the ideas in the report, the emphasis on these community organizations show that their perspectives are neither more valuable nor more valid than actual professionals who handle health emergencies. The insistence on centering narratives and experiences primarily on the basis of race is what actually ends up marginalizing people. More problematic, it reinforces a victimhood mentality, suggesting that these communities are perpetually oppressed and incapable of thriving without special recognition or financial assistance. This report is the embodiment of everything we do not want, prioritizing racial and social narratives over practical solutions, ultimately marginalizing the very people it claims to uplift. Washingtonians, be concerned, deeply concerned, that this agency might actually follow through on this laundry list, putting ideological posturing over effective public health strategies and initiatives. I sat down with our local tax expert and advocate, Greg Nunn from None Better Tax Resolution. Tell me a little bit about the Fresh Start program, because again, based on how it's promoted, it seems really, really simple.
This Fresh Start program and that phrase has been around for many, many, many years now. But it's a great marketing tool to say, hey, fresh start. And in a way, for those that qualify, it is. What it essentially is an offer in compromise. And to get that, there's two main criteria a person must qualify for. One, they must have limited or no equity in assets. So generally, anyone in the Puget Sound region that owns a home and has for several years, they're going to have a lot of equity. They won't qualify. And the other is an income level. And that all depends upon your family size about how much income that could be. But both of those standards need to be met to qualify. Most people do not.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, then call Greg Nunn of None Better Tax Resolution. From stress to success with IRS Solutions. 425-947-1967. or Google NUNN, none better, tax resolution. Did you like that commentary? Make sure you subscribe to the podcast of The Jason Rantz Show. Get it at KTTH.com or wherever it is you download your podcasts.